Hey, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to bring you a few updates on Palantir stock. Now, it's actually been a good couple of weeks for Palantir, despite the fact that they're down on the day by about 5%. If we look at the monthly chart, we can see that they're up from their low by about 32% from when they were trading at $6.71 near the beginning of May, which is obviously a solid positive development. And yeah, there's been a few solid pieces of news about Palantir that have come out in the past couple of days that I want to touch on today. The first of which is that they've renewed, or rather extended, their contract with the US Space Systems Command by just over $50 million US. So it's not huge in terms of the total revenue of Palantir. Obviously, they're one of many government clients that they have, but another $50 million in the books is nothing to scoff at. So obviously, when we see contract extensions like this as well, it's almost even more positive than new clients because it shows that they have proven their value and that the customer is now willing to spend even more for access to Palantir Gotham. And they only signed their first deal in 2021, and that deal was for $120 million. So now that they're extending this through to 2023, I think that shows clearly that Palantir is delivering value to US Space Systems Command, and that's a really positive signal. Okay, next up, Alex Karp actually visited Ukraine. He was in Kyiv and he actually met with the president and the vice president of Ukraine to talk about how Palantir can help them win the war. And this tweet here is from the vice president of Ukraine, showing a few pictures of Karp with the president and also talking about how Alex is the first CEO to visit the city since the start of the war. And I think this just shows how dedicated Palantir is to supporting the West and Western allies. And apparently, according to the VP, Palantir has agreed to open an office in Ukraine and provide additional support to the army. Now, on Reddit, on the Ukraine subreddit, there's actually a little bit of misinformation, I would say. People have seen this news and reacted to it, and I think that people don't really fully understand what Palantir is and what they're providing. A lot of people are linking Palantir to Donald Trump, which is a bit of a stretch. It might be coming from the fact that Peter Thiel, who is a co-founder and a supporter, a board member of Palantir, has come out in support of Donald Trump, but Palantir, the company itself, is definitely not directly linked to the Republican Party or to Donald Trump, and this isn't really what they're about. And so people on the Ukraine subreddit here are talking about how Palantir is going to play both sides of the war and going to sell Ukraine's data to Russia to do whatever they can to make a quick buck. Now, obviously, this opinion is coming from a place of ignorance and disinformation because Palantir has said time and again that they only support Western countries and Western allies. And in fact, they don't actually custody their clients' data. They're just providing an operating system for clients to make the most of their data and to support their decision making. But it's not even like Palantir's executives have access to top secret Ukraine data that they're going to turn around and sell to the Russian army as well, which it's just completely ridiculous. Anyways, another positive piece of information that we've got coming out of Karp's Ukraine visit is that we have a new confirmed client on the commercial side for Palantir, which is Komatsu Enterprises. And they confirmed after seeing that Karp has visited Ukraine that they're proud to be a Palantir client. And this is a pretty large publicly traded company from Japan that provides all sorts of different equipment for engineering, for construction, for drilling, and all sorts of industrial applications. So we love to see new Palantir commercial clients for sure. Finally, one last point that I want to touch on in today's video is that there's been more negative articles coming out over the past few weeks talking about how Palantir is dramatically overvalued, even at these prices. For example, we've got an article here from Wolf Street, which is kind of a sketchy looking blog and probably not the best news source. But anyway, this person is suggesting that even once Palantir moves to a net profit position, the company even then should only be worth around $4 per share, which is just absolutely ridiculous given the fact that Palantir is on track to have over $2 billion in gross sales this year, and that they're on track to achieve that 30% year-over-year revenue growth rate for the next 3 years. And the fact that they have absolutely no debt, a massive cash position, and they're cash flow positive from operations. You know, this is the type of analysis that is really ridiculous, but it gets clicks and it gets headlines, and people see this and they say, maybe Palantir is just a meme stock, maybe it doesn't provide value. And you know, the price that Palantir is trading at today, which is around $9 US per share, the multiples on revenue or sales aren't even that crazy, and they're pretty comparable with what you might expect of companies that are in value territory. This stock has been battered down so hard over the last year that at this point, for someone to suggest that even once they've become profitable, they should be worth less than half of what they're worth today, I think is just ludicrous. And we've got another article here on Seeking Alpha. Similar type of story. This is a dead cat bounce, what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, that Palantir is still overvalued. Now, this author here I've seen has written several negative articles on Palantir for Seeking Alpha, but I think he fundamentally misunderstands what Palantir is. For example, in the article here, he's suggesting that Palantir is competing with AWS to be the future AWS, but honestly, it couldn't be further from the truth. Palantir and AWS are actually partnering. They're meant to work hand in hand. And it's not like Palantir is trying to be a cloud service provider. They are trying to build on top of that and to provide clients with cloud agnostic plug and play software where they can manage all of their data in real time in one place in a really easy and modularized solution. So honestly, these articles from Seeking Alpha and from Motley Fool and other financial blogs like this, they like to play both sides of the equation. They got articles coming out in favor of Palantir. They got articles coming out suggesting that Palantir is way overvalued. And that way, regardless of which way the price moves, they can say that they predicted what was going to happen because they've been playing both sides of the equation. Anyways, that's it for today's update. There's been a lot of positive movement for Palantir in terms of news coming out about new clients and as well as the price movement over the past few weeks, which you love to see. Now, I know I haven't been making nearly as much content over the past month or so as I did early in the year. Honestly, I've just been going outside, enjoying the summer, enjoying the nice weather, going golfing, and living my life. But I'm going to try and bring more consistent content on Palantir, as well as on Ethereum and some other projects that I'm working on. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.